Have you ever caught yourself in a part of questions of what you may be doing wrong for setting boundaries for yourself? You are getting so much defense from the people around you, losing people that you love, getting hurt, and singing to yourself, if they really loved me, they would understand my boundaries. Unrealistic and misunderstood boundaries are a real thing. Boundaries can be complex, and it is okay if you stumble occasionally while trying to maintain them. Learning to protect and respect your boundaries is something that needs time and practice until it becomes more natural. I really think having wrong boundaries or no boundaries at all both have the same or even worse consequences. Therefore, setting the right boundaries is particularly, you know what I mean, it's particularly important, and these guidelines are going to help you be able to set boundaries that will nourish your relationships. Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. My name is Patra Naluseva, and in this video I'm going to share with you guidelines that you can use in setting the right boundaries. If you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you are returning, I really appreciate the support. Now, before I jump into the guidelines, I really wanted to talk to you guys about what boundaries are not. This may maybe give you an idea on how boundaries should work, and better yet, help you even understand the guidelines even more. Boundaries are not meant to punish. Having personal boundaries is not selfish. Boundaries will not make your relationship suffer. Having personal boundaries does not mean you are rigid, unkind, or not compassionate. Boundaries are definitely not a controlling or manipulation tool. Boundaries are not just about the things that you don't want, but also about the things that you do want. Boundaries will not make people dislike you. Okay, maybe a tiny little bit, but how much for your sanity? And lastly, boundaries are not meant to keep people out. They are meant to make it easier for people to get closer. Number one, learn about boundaries. If you're unsure what boundaries are, it's going to be hard for other people to follow them too. So be on that journey first. Learn about the different types of boundaries so you know which ones can suit your situation more. There are actually very many different types of boundaries. For example, we do have physical, intellectual, spiritual, cultural, emotional, time boundaries. To be honest, I think we're going to evolve to more than that, but that's all I know for now. And it is really good to have someone tell you about them and give you advice, but that extra information might give you a whole different perspective, which you might benefit even more from. Number two, use previous experience. From the past experiences that you've had, assess the things that made you feel really uncomfortable, things that made you feel resentful, things that made you feel frustrated, or even the things that put your brain in a confused state for a long period of time. That's where you need to start to find out what your limits are. It's also going to be able to help you figure out where you need to set boundaries, and also setting up systems that are going to be able to get those needs met. Number three, begin with yourself. Just like you setting boundaries to nourish the relationships that you have with the people around you and the people that you love, there are certain behaviors that you may be having that are damaging the relationship that you have with yourself or your self-image. That means there are certain things that you're going to have to say no to yourself to, and that self-discipline is going to be able to help you gain respect for yourself while letting go of unwanted feelings of the self. And if you are able to have boundaries with yourself, then setting boundaries with other people will become so much easier. Number four, do not try to set boundaries out of anger and resentment. That's because boundaries that come from a place of anger and resentment usually have a purpose and a desired result of wanting to manipulate the other person or control them. And another thing, it can easily lead to you confusing boundaries with demands and ultimatums. And ultimatums involve a power over strategy that comes across as threatening or intimidating, which will instead cause more harm than good. Number five, get into a habit of getting an agreement from the person you're setting a boundary with. I believe this is the right way to set boundaries because it will make it harder for the other person to resist or push back on your request, because an agreement makes them accountable, you know. And not only that, it opens up a lot of room for negotiation, and sometimes getting another perspective might show you if your boundaries are being harsh and unreasonable. So The next time you're making a request, make sure you're asking questions like, is that something that you're willing to do? And then take it from there. Number 6 is allow yourself to lose people that are going to be lost in the process. The process of making boundaries has never been an easy one, because many people being so used to you being really nice and saying yes to everything may get shocked when you start saying no to certain things. That means that you're going to have to possibly end friendships and relationships because the other person may not get why you cannot give them what they want, even if it comes at the expense of your peace. Hence, cannot respect your boundaries. You need to learn to let go and be excited for what's coming for you in this new chapter, and also allowing others to experience the consequences of their actions. Number 7 is prepare for the next steps for when your boundaries are violated in advance. This one is almost self-explanatory, and it's always up to you depending on the relationship that you have with this person or people. And more importantly, it helps you be able to keep the emotions that you might get immediately in control. That's the important part right there. And this is because you already know what the next step is when the boundary is violated. Lastly, practice bringing up the boundary right away when it has been violated. It's not uncommon for people to get upset or ruminate about the situation for days or weeks and then bring it up a month later when there's really no point for having kept it alive. Try making your boundaries as clear and as specific as possible, because you cannot blame anyone for any violation if you haven't put it upon yourself to be clear about it. And try not to get too excited with setting boundaries and then you end up blocking everyone out, because now you feel like every little thing is a boundary. Remember, boundaries are a form of communication. Instead of turning inward and catastrophizing, turn outward and engage with the person. A lot of people don't understand or underestimate the power that they have over their life, and they get scared to set boundaries or even don't go through them because of fear. But all they do is protect you from other people's unconscious, boundless behaviors, and also you protecting other people from your unconscious, boundless behaviors plus unwanted feelings. So sit down and set those babies up, and I really can't wait to hear how you go. Leave a comment below if you've had an experience with setting the wrong boundary. I'm curious to know. And please share this video with your friends and family so you can help them set the right boundaries. Give this video a very big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And with that said, I hope you have a great day, a great week, and a great life. See you in the next one.